So I go down this road, and all of a sudden, pop, and I'm like, what's that? Check engine light comes on, pop, 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 and I'm driving, the truck's kind of shaking, and I'm like, wow, I'm going to have to find a place to pull over. Now, mind you, I have the dogs with me. Now, the truck stalls, and I'm like, oh, shit. So I put it in neutral, and I'm rolling, but traffic in this area is super busy. In this whole area, not just where I was, but in general, this whole area is super busy. So I put it in neutral, and I roll, but now I'm losing power steering also. So anyways, I get into a parking lot. Hi, we're James and Cara, and this is Kerouacs Cruising.
We are two ordinary people exploring what it means to build a life that feels true, day by day, from one campfire to the next.
This is our adventure, and we're glad you're part of it.
Good morning, friends!
Hello, everybody.
We have a s'mores bar, and there's a funny story that goes with that, but we've got a whole long story we have to tell you first before this will accurately hit just the way that it needs to. S'mores isn't something we typically do. We're going to have s'mores with our coffee today while we talk to you.
So, we're hunkered down in Idaho, and we've been doing stuff. And Cara went on her 40th birthday party without me, and she went and visited...
It was a girls' trip.
She went and visited her friends in Dallas. So, and then I was left home alone.
Left home. Oh, the poor baby. So, it was a great trip. Dallas was so much fun. When I first got there, the very first day, I laughed so hard. My sides hurt, my face hurt. We really just had so much fun. If you've never heard of Meow Wolf, it's like a psychedelic art maze. There's some games that are involved in it too, but it was a really cool experience. So we did that. I think it was the first night that I was there. We did paddleboarding. The girls had never paddleboarded before, so it was a first experience. Oh my gosh, that's so much chocolate.
I'm going all out. I'm doing the whole thing.
I see that. You look like you have half of a giant chocolate bar, an XL chocolate bar, 2 marshmallows, and 2 graham crackers.
Yeah,
I'm just doing the 1 graham cracker split in half, baby chocolate.
Whatever. So
that was awesome. So a paddleboard. What else did we do? We did the bungee fitness, which was super cool and as fun as the videos make it look. What else did we do? We went to Stun's Yard in Fort Worth. We did...
sanitize the stick.
What else did we do? Man,
so,
it's all blurring together.
She ate out a lot.
Well, every
Come
meal.
on, what was the best restaurant you ate at?
That's a little tough.
And what was Stockman Hill? Is that the place you guys walked around? It's like a little town?
Yeah, so it was an old stockyard. And so I'd never been, it's terrible because I, lived in Tucson my whole life, and I had never been to Tombstone, and the gals were saying that it was like Tombstone.
I've been to Tombstone, but I mean, it's all right, but pretty good.
So there's some bars, and there's nice eateries, and there's a bunch of shops and stuff, but it's like all adobe and wood buildings and cobblestone streets. And then they have a rodeo. We happen to be there. We were going to go to the rodeo because they have a rodeo every Friday and Saturday. But they happened that weekend to be having the championship rodeo. And so it was like $100 a ticket. And, I mean, rodeos are cool and all, but not $100 ticket cool. So we did not go to the rodeo. But we had, I think my favorite restaurant was probably, and it's the food I shouldn't eat, it was a Mexican restaurant. So my friend doesn't live in Dallas proper. She lives in one of the suburbs. And it's like a restaurant plethora. Like they don't have any real chain restaurants. It's all local restaurants. So there's this delicious Mexican restaurant. And I can't even think of the name of it. I was so involved in the moment, I wasn't trying to remember stats and
she probably could put it in the show notes.
Yeah, I'll put it in the show notes for sure. But we went to a concert, which was a cover band that did alternative 90s and early 2000s music, which was perfect because that was our music. It wasn't club music, but it was a lot of fun. We had a blast. It was just so much fun. The whole weekend was amazing. I'm so glad we did it. These girls, since probably we were 25, have only gotten together for major events, weddings and stuff like that. So it was really nice to just have the quality time to spend with them, and looking forward to doing it more. The one we were just with in Iowa, we were going to spend time with the other one when we were going to do our East Coast tour. In the spring, we were supposed to stop in Dallas and spend some time there on our way to do the East Coast tour, and then see the other one in Iowa on the way out of our East Coast tour. So we're hoping to be able to do that in the future as time goes on. But while I was in Dallas, James had a very eventful week. It was, I don't want to say it was a damper for Dallas, but it did make it hard to stay in the moment, that's for sure.
I will tell you, so we get up at 2 o'clock in the morning. She's got to be at the airport at 4. And that day was glorious. I came back to camp. I hung around with the dogs. We went on a big hike. My son and his wife and the baby, they're all busy on Thursdays. So I really had a day to myself. I was excited to have really just alone time, which everybody likes. So I'm like, this is going to be great. I'm going to have a week, just me and the dogs, see the baby whenever I want. And, wow, this thing is crazy.
It's a monster.
And Friday, I'm just going to do some grocery shopping, get dog food, and stuff like that. I'm going to go to Walmart and Natural Grocers. Only 2 stores I was going to go. Leave pretty early for us, I guess. Not super early, but I leave at like 9:30, 10, camp. Because I'm getting up, enjoying camp. I'm by myself, got the dogs. We go for a short walk. It's going to be 93 degrees this day.
Yeah, so he's not leaving the dogs in the camper. He intentionally brings them so that they can be in the truck.
So we load up. We get to Walmart, whatever. It is already hot, so I leave the truck running. Come out of Walmart, leave. We're going to go to Natural Grocers. And they divert me because there's a road closed. So I'm on this road I haven't been down really. Usually everything I'm doing is on the 95. So I go down this road, and all of a sudden, pop, and I'm like, what's that? Check engine light comes on, pop, 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 and I'm driving, the truck's kind of shaking, and I'm like, wow, I'm going to have to find a place to pull over. Now, mind you, I have the dogs with me. Now, the truck stalls. And I'm like, oh, shit. So I put it in neutral and I'm rolling, but traffic in this area is super busy. In this whole area, not just where I was, but in general, this whole area is super busy. So I put it in neutral and I roll, but now I'm losing power steering also. So anyways, I get into a parking lot. I think I'm going to roll into a parking spot, and the truck just won't roll any further because it's like a little incline. So now I'm blocking this parking lot of this business pretty hard. My truck is big.
With a problem with the truck that he has no idea what it is.
Yep, truck's dead now. So I try to start it. It starts and stalls, doesn't even really start all the way. It actually makes horrible noise. So, whatever. So I tell the people what happened, but I have the dogs with me. So I'm like, now my anxiety is through the roof. I'm like, what the frig am I going to do? And to give you a point, where my son lives and where I am is 45 minutes to an hour best if they were already in the car driving. So it's not like they're going to be there.
Norman.
It's not like they're going to be there to be able to rescue me quickly.
Yeah. And your son's at work.
My son's at work. It's a Thursday.
And his daughter's doing other things.
And she works.
With her parents. Yeah, and she works with the baby, all that. Yeah.
So I'm like, whatever. So I go talk to the people that have the business. They were not very helpful. The guy just kept asking me why I turned into his parking lot and why I broke down in his parking lot. I'm like, okay, well, none of that. It's like, whatever. So I leave there. I go in view. There's an automotive place. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to go there. So I get there. This is Friday afternoon. The guy's like, all my mechanics are in San Diego. I'm like, what? He's like, I don't got a mechanic. But at the time, I don't really realize it. I'm talking to the guy, but I leave. I walk across the parking lot again to get back to my truck. Now I pop the hood. The dog's now in the truck. And if anybody knows about vehicles getting hot, the truck's getting hot even with the windows down and the dogs are panting. Mm-hmm. So, whatever. I pop the hood. I'm like, we had replaced the spark plug and one of the coil packs was really corroded. So I was like, maybe it was just the coil pack got loose, whatever. And it was replaced.
So you start troubleshooting, basically, what you know.
But nothing, the truck ain't moving. So I call a tow truck. The guy's like, We can be there in less than 60 minutes. So I'm like, okay. Still got the dogs in the car, but I'm like, what am I really going to do? So I'm just hanging out with the dogs. Now I got the dogs out of the truck just in the shadow of this business. And it's like crazy. And I'm standing there and I'm looking at the parking lot where I talked to this guy that was very helpful. And I see the U-Haul trucks and I'm like, oh man. And in the meantime, I'm on my phone looking for a rent-a-car. So just crazy. So the tow truck comes, I rent a U-Haul to get the dogs and me out of there for one night, tell my son what's going on, and he said he could have came and picked me up, but none of that mattered. I got the U-Haul, and found out the next day the truck went to a Dodge guy specialist, and the engine is seized up, done, piston busted. So, gives me a quote on the phone. Saturday morning, he gives me a quote of $12,600 to fix my truck. So that was a shock. The anxiety of the dogs, whatever. And then it sinks in. We're like, we thought we had a pretty good amount of money to get us through to get to the winter. And then we'd start DoorDashing and do whatever when we got around Arizona.
We hadn't figured out something else. I mean,
yeah, we got a lot of things going on.
Things going on in the background, but nothing is, you know, super lucrative yet.
So we're like, we got a pretty good chunk of cash. We're not going to worry about it. And then it's like the realization, because then I'm online, I'm looking, I'm like, could I do the motor swap? Could I rebuild the motor? But all that for me takes 6 weeks.
Well, minimum. And I think what made this whole situation worse is, like James says, is he had the weekend to himself, and in between what's going on with the kids, being able to go see the grandbaby and visit and stuff. So he really was just sitting at, every time I talked to him, he had a whole new plan in his mind. So he was just sitting at home researching and dwelling on this situation. Of course, because he wants to save us as much money as he possibly can. But it just, you know, he wasn't distracted, unfortunately. So just sat at home and dwelled on this situation, it seemed like to me.
I see, you know, that's whatever. I see my son on their days off. Usually I see him Saturday, Sunday, Wednesday. So the rest of the time, it's great, I think. I get to be with the dogs, do nothing. But I did research it up and down, and it just didn't make sense to get a used engine for the cost difference. The good news was we did go with a brand new engine, 100,000-mile warranty.
We had the money in the savings account, which is a blessing.
So
we weren't pulling up a remote mountain road in the middle of nowhere with no resources.
The tow truck committed. It was there in about an hour. The guy the U-Haul rental place, when I got there, pretty much gave me the keys and said, see you later.
Yeah.
It was super cool.
Yeah, with the exception of the being stuck in a business parking lot.
It was high anxiety at first, and then it's high anxiety still now because we thought we had a pretty good cushion, and now... So that brings us to the next thing. So now...
We're DoorDashing.
I, used my son's car for a week, pretty much. It happened on a Friday. The mechanic was nice enough to go in on Saturday to tell me the basics, what's wrong, pretty much the engine blown. But then couldn't do anything else until Monday. So I meet with the guy on Monday. And
pay for the engine.
Yeah, well, we have the conversation. He shows me all his credentials. He was really convinced me that the engine was the way to go. And I said, how long? He said a week. I was like, oh, man, that's so much faster. I was like, okay, so we bought the engine there. He ordered it. And as of right now, we're still waiting.
As James was starting to say, we
used my son's car, picked it up on Saturday.
But James, we mentioned last episode, just did a ton of work on their car. They're trying to make it last as long as possible. So we're driving this car around, adding unnecessary miles, because... his son's wife doesn't drive very far very often. She goes to town probably less than $5,000 a year. Yeah, exactly. So we drive far. I mean, just to get to their house is more miles than...
She drives for a week or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So we're really stressed out about it. And he just did all this work. They're trying to make the truck last as long as possible. They're trying to get through the payments they have on one vehicle before they start making payments on another vehicle. So we don't want their vehicle to break down sooner than necessary because we put extra and hard miles because we're on rough dirt roads. So there was a lot of anxiety in that. And we were going to be holding the car basically for 2 weeks. So we decided to go rent a car instead. So when we rented the car, we were like, well, we might as well try the best we can to pay for the car.
Our game plan was actually, we thought we'd pay the car.
And then
because
make
we're
extra.
pretty close to a pretty big, is Coeur d'Alene considered a city?
Yeah, Coeur d'Alene's a city. Yeah.
So pretty big city in Coeur d'Alene and a lot of summer traffic. So we thought we would do really good with DoorDash. So we rent the car, which we were going to have to rent anyways. I didn't really want to use my son's car. And everybody knows what that's like. Nobody wants to borrow somebody else's car.
Yeah, God forbid something happened.
So we're going to go rent a car.
But we're behind the wheel.
And I'm like, oh, we're going to make $250 a day, $300 a day, whatever. DoorDash is not that money, but it is money, and it is money anytime you want to do it on the spot. And you can make money, and some days are going to be better than others. So we now are committed to DoorDashing, and we've made them almost the money back for the car.
Yeah, we made the money
We're
back
not
for the
making
car.
huge money.
No.
But we did realize when we're on downtime that we probably do need to work. When we're traveling and sightseeing, no. But we're going to be here for a couple months.
For now. I mean, hopefully, we've got the reinvention project is our heart project. Basically where we take what we do here in Kerouacs Cruising in our life, what we're living live in real time with you guys, and we help you learn to have the confidence in yourself to be able to start living a life that's true to you. So that is the dream that's going to fund our future adventures. But anytime you build anything from scratch and you're building it new, it takes some time to grow. And so that's the
and we're
spot
still
we're
growing
in right now. Yeah. So the hope is, in the long term. But we've got our rental rig and been trying to make the money back. So circling back to the s'more story. We have DoorDash order. I think it was our first night dashing. I think it was. So we're like...
First night, last order.
Yes. So it's like, we're not happy to be back at it, and we are tired, and, whatever. So last order, we weren't going to take it. We were getting ready to sign off for the day, and then that order popped up before we did, and it was a good paying order, so we were like, great. And so it's a shopping order at the grocery store, and so we're going through the grocery store, and as I'm going through, and the order's a little weird as it is. Like, it's like...
But it wasn't weird for a Saturday night.
No, that's true. You're right. Well, not completely. So at
weird.
First, the order was a bunch of firewood and a bunch of different kinds of fresh baked rolls, like a dozen like hoagie style rolls, and then a dozen like sandwich style rolls, 2 giant cans of baked beans, and some other random stuff. Oh, thermometers, like a deep fryer thermometer, and then like an instant temp meat thermometer. And some other small random stuff that I can't think of right now. But then as we're going through the store, like James helps me with these big shopping orders because he drives and I fly, basically. I do the running around while he navigates the traffic. And but when we have a big order and we want to get it done fast, especially at the end of the night, he'll come in, he'll take a picture of the items that we need, run around the grocery store, and then come find me for me to scan them in, see if they're the right one. So he just kind of helps me get it done a little faster. So he kept... And I try to go through the store systematically, go from one aisle all the way across the store to the last aisle till we check out. It's a logical way. You don't want to zigzag back and forth. But I keep zigzagging back and forth, and he's like, I thought you were going in order. And I'm like, they keep adding on items. So, like, they added on 2 packages of the same exact Crayola markers. They added on s'more stuff. They added on chocolate bars and the marshmallows and graham crackers.
There was a case of beer.
2 dozen eggs, but 2 different brands of a dozen eggs. So it was very, very strange, some of the weird idiosyncrasies in this order. And so we get it all. It takes forever because they keep adding on and we're zigzagging back and forth across the store. All in all, though, it ends up being like a $235 order. They got 6 bundles of wood, and then I think it was 4 packages of kindling, which I'd never seen kindling sold at the grocery store before. I must have never noticed it. But yeah, Safeway.
Really pretty convenient.
Yeah, it sells kindling. So we get it all together and we go to deliver the order, and I knock on the door, and the people aren't, when you deliver alcohol, there needs to be somebody with an identification. I have to scan the ID. I can't leave the products without it. So I have to knock on the door to deliver the alcohol. And they get their life together inside and finally stick their head out the door, and the lady's like, we didn't order anything. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I have a trunk full of stuff here. Like, I have an order for blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh, that's our old tenant. He doesn't live here anymore. He moved out a few months ago and we live here now. I was like, oh, I have no idea. So then I do what I can as far as back office, trying to get help from DoorDash and try to figure out what I need to do with the stuff. And DoorDash wanted me to return the alcohol, which is normal. If you can't deliver the alcohol, then you return the alcohol. And then I asked the gentleman at Safeway, I was like, they didn't want this other stuff. Can I return it? And he's like, no, once it leaves the store, unless there's a quality issue with the product, we don't want it back. You can't return it. And so there was nothing on DoorDash's end to do. Safeway doesn't want the product. So we ended up with all of this random stuff, almost $200, I guess, when you take out the case of it. So we've got a ton of s'more stuff. They ordered 2 party-sized boxes of graham crackers.
The marshmallows
is
are huge.
5 extra large size Hershey bars, and then these s'more style marshmallows. Really, I don't feel like it's enough marshmallows when you look at how much chocolate and how much graham crackers there is, and then tons of firewood. And here we're no shortage of firewood. James has been every day.
It's easy to collect it. But it's pretty convenient to
have the nice dry stuff and the kindling to start it. Oh, lighter fluid. It was 2 different bottles.
2 different
brands of firewood.
So I had to move the sun.
Lighter fluid. So that's a funny story. I mean, it's a bonus, I guess. We got a little bit of extra stuff. I mean, some of the stuff is weird, for sure. You got the camera turned?
That's good enough.
Good. Some of the stuff's weird, like the markers. If they were washable, we'd give them to the baby, but they're not washable.
He'll be writing on the walls.
That's kind of not a great idea. We gave some of the bread to, his son and our daughter-in-law. The graham crackers. The baby loves graham crackers. But they, they're like us. They eat on the healthier side. So it's like even the milk chocolate, I don't want to waste this stuff. So we'll use it as a coffee treat in the morning around the campfire.
That s'more was pretty good, I got to admit.
Pretty good. So it's just a funny story that came out of our dashing. And like he said, I mean, we didn't work, we worked on Friday or on Saturday. We did not work on Sunday. We celebrated my birthday with the family on Sunday
Happy
night.
Birthday, still going on.
Yeah, I am. I'm on a month-long celebration. I'm very blessed this year. I feel more celebrated for my 40th than I feel like I've ever been in my whole life. And James has done some pretty spectacular things over the years, and I've had some really amazing friends really step up over the years. So this has just been extra special, even though every year seems special. So we celebrated my birthday with the family, went to our favorite pizza restaurant, Iron Pizza in Athol. They do pizza flights. I think we talked about them last season.
Awesome place.
You get 3 different styles of their specialty pizzas. They're delicious. They have an arcade inside. It was so much fun with the baby. He had so much fun.
The baby's favorite thing was driving the race car.
He was so funny. So at one point, this was such a funny story. So me and Deidre are just sitting at the table after we finish eating, and we're just chit-chatting back and forth. And then the boys go with the baby to play one of the hunting shooting games. Yeah. And the boys got really into it, and the baby must have gotten bored with the boys being really into it. He left. Ryan spins around all of a sudden. He's like, where's the baby? And we're like, what? We thought you had him. And so there's a mild panic, and then we all look over the race car, and Marcus is just sitting there, hands on the steering wheel, looking at all of us. It was so the cutest. That was amazing.
It was pretty good.
But so we had a blast with that. He got some tattoos. They were Sonic the Hedgehog tattoos or whatever. The
out of the machine.
Out of the machine, yeah. And they put him on his belly, and he loved them. Because he loves stickers right now. That's a huge thing for him. So they're permanent stickers. He loved them so much. And then, so we didn't work Sunday. We worked on Monday, right?
Yeah, Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah,
Wednesday.
Today's Wednesday. So
we're halfway through the week. The problem is, Cara leaves Saturday, and we have the car till Friday, but we got to detail the car because, man, we are just not keeping good. We're not doing good to the rental car. It's getting a lot of miles and a lot of James and Cara time.
Yeah, dog hair. So that's been that. But I imagine if we'd have focused more Friday night, late night Saturday, maybe and then midday Sunday. Sunday we were going.
We could have did Sunday.
We were just getting ready to work on Sunday, and we were. his
The problem
son's
with having
building-
family around, they can just disrupt your whole. You want to spend time with them.
Yes,
So
that's
pretty
why
much,
we're
if
here.
they were like, "Hey, you guys want to hang out?" I'm, of course,
we're
really
shifting
want
everything
to do
around.
it.
We were going. My birthday was actually on Monday, and so we were going to go out to dinner on Monday night. But they wanted to celebrate with us, and it would have been 7 o'clock at night by the time he gets out of work and all that. So we ended up shifting our whole day around, and it was great. Like it was a beautiful
fun.
day. We ended up going to the lake, hanging out at the lake with him. James and I had a nice quiet day at home before that, so it really ended up being a beautiful day to celebrate my birthday on.
And the water was super nice, refreshing because we've been steadily high 80s, low 90s for a good week now.
Yeah.
So, but Cara had extreme hot weather in Texas versus what we have here.
Texas was warm. It was around 100 degrees every day. I mean, I don't think it ever quite hit 100.
Well, the difference there too, though, at night it stays 75.
So it's actually there's a lot of moisture in Dallas and that region of Texas. It's just I didn't realize how far north it is, but Jade only lives like 45 minutes from the Oklahoma border.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's pretty moist there in general. So it's hot and humid, unfortunately. That's what makes it oppressive. That's what makes it tough. And I still can't get over how amazing that trip was. Like, it was so soul-filling. I mean, if you've been following us on social media, then you've seen some posts about it leading up into this episode. But there's something special. Beck and I have been friends since we were in the 6th grade. Jade joined us right after high school. I think she was still in high school, actually, when we all started hanging out. And so it's just amazing to be with people that knew you so intimately at a time when you barely knew yourself, and you've continued to stay in contact. I mean, I talk to these girls every day, and we have a group chat. We share our lives, our hardest moments with each other, our biggest wins. So it just was so much fun to just get together and just be who we've always been together, and just have so much fun and laugh and just feel totally loved and accepted no matter what. We've all changed so much, and we still love each other just the same as we always have. We still tease each other and poke fun and bring up old stories and just laugh. Like, it just was so much fun. And then, again, fully accept each other for who we've become. So you can't replace that with anything in the world. It was a really beautiful time. And then while I was in Dallas, my aunt invited me to come and join her family, so my cousins and her for a family trip in Florida. And it was the day I found out what's going on with the truck, and so I was like, I would love to. I really appreciate the invite, but this is what I have going on in my life, because it's hard, because it's like, I want to go, right? And I don't want her to feel like I don't want to go, so I need to tell her why I can't go. And so I do, and she was like, well, I was going to buy your ticket anyway. And I was like, well, let me talk to James about it, because we don't have a dog sitter, because she was inviting both of us to go. And I was like, we don't have anybody who can watch the dogs in our camper. It's a tough situation that we're in right now. And we can't pay for a boarding facility, because we just had to it ended up being potentially $14,000 into the truck.
$14,000?
Yeah, after all said and done. So it's not like we can afford to pay for a boarding. So we, whatever. So she, spending cash, and it's one of those situations where I normally would say, no, I can't accept this gift. It feels too much. But somebody wouldn't offer something like that unless they really wanted you to go. Like, she could have just said, when I first said the car broke down, I can't afford to make this happen. I'm sorry. That she could have just said, oh, that sucks, maybe next time, and just left it at that. And that's the way I've been having to reframe, because I'm battling with a lot of guilt internally with accepting these what feel like luxurious or over the top gifts. But somebody wouldn't do something like that unless they really wanted to. It's not like I'm out there panhandling, begging for stuff, and guilting people into it. So to look at it as what it is, that it's a gift from the heart, that somebody really wants to spend time with me, quality time in my family, and have fun, and is willing to pay to make sure that happens. That's a beautiful gift to appreciate, not feel guilty about. So it's been a little bit of a mindset shift for me to really get myself into, this is a beautiful opportunity, and love yourself for it, and love that there is that bond and that desire to spend quality time, even though I wouldn't have been able to make it happen otherwise. And if we're going to get into the quantum physics, metaphysical, manifesting stuff, I had been telling James and even friends of mine before we got to Idaho, when we get here, we get so involved in what's going on with the family, we tend to get stuck. We end up spending the whole summer in Idaho, which I don't mind because I enjoy spending time with the family, but we have a traveling lifestyle. I'd like to travel too, like take a couple days away, you know, go somewhere else for a little while and then come back and then flip back and forth. So when we were coming into this summer, I told James I would really like to, when we move the camper, leave for a few days, check out somewhere else, Glacier, Crater National Park.
Mm-hmm. Anything.
There's so much around here, and then come back. But we haven't. It felt like we were just getting settled
Hell's
in.
Canyon, that's what it was.
Hell's Canyon. You're
There's
right.
definitely places around here I want to check out.
So many beautiful places. So it seemed like right when we were getting settled in here, then I was leaving for Dallas, and then coming back, and now finding out I'm going to Florida, but the truck broke down. So it's like I'm getting what I really wanted as far as being able to travel all summer in addition to still having home be here.
And we're still trying to get the Red Lodge.
Yeah.
So there's definitely things we want to do.
Absolutely. Yeah,
but Cara gets to stay busy through the baby's really going to be born when she gets back.
Yeah, well, and then
you
my
come
sister...
back August 1st, right?
Yes, August 1st, yep.
So...
And then the baby, they think he's gonna be born August 8th. There's a whole story around that. We won't get into the details, but he was due...
August
14th, but she thinks she's going to have him on the 8th. So we'll see how that comes together. But then my sister's coming in September for a weekend. My sister Katie, that came and saw us in Arizona. So it's a full season, really.
We're gonna be busy, and then we're gonna go hopefully down the coast. But anyways, heading back to Arizona for the winter.
Because the week that I'm going to be in Florida, we were actually supposed to go to Red Lodge. So this is now twice that our plans have gotten canceled on Red Lodge. That ended up falling through because of the truck. It's a lot going on, man. We are busy, even though it feels like we're hurrying up and not doing much.
Life's busy. We're fortunate enough to have a great camp spot.
Yeah.
Be able to relax.
Oh, so that's a whole nother thing. So the thought was that by the time I came back from Dallas, the camper would have been in this spot for 2 weeks.
Exactly 2 weeks.
So it would have been time to go take and dump the tanks and change camp spots. But the truck broke down, so we couldn't move the camper.
I did try to move it.
Ryan has a truck that is capable enough to be able to pull our camper, so that was the plan. James went and got the truck, did a bunch of errands for them at their house, came back here, and we packed up all the camp, ready to go. And
hooking up the hitch.
The last thing that needed to happen was hook up the hitch. So James takes our hitch, goes to put it into his son's truck, and he must have an aftermarket tow package put on the truck because it's
it has just a small receiver. It's only rated for 6,000 pounds.
Yeah.
But the truck's rated for 10,200 pounds. So whoever put that receiver on didn't do him any justice at all.
Yeah.
And maybe they were just towing something light, a utility trailer or something. But it can't tow our the truck can tow our trailer, but the hitch is liable to break right off because it's only rated for 6,000 pounds. Would it? I'm not sure. But I ain't willing to risk his truck or my camper.
Yes.
Because our camper's 7,000 pounds and the septic tank is full. So.
Yeah, the black tank.
We have a lot of gear.
Yeah. So.
In it. So it's just, yeah.
So that was fun. And so he brought the truck back, whatever. So we have a full black tank and are unable to dump it. So I just want to make that point. Not only is it a funny story, in addition to everything else we have going on. This is our life right now. So we're having to use a portable toilet, and so I just want to make that point is being prepared is like your best friend, because for us it was like, okay, well, this is the next thing. We just knew that's the next thing we have to do. No big deal.
We've been practicing for a while.
We didn't have to go run out and go buy a portable toilet and go buy we had everything we needed to just, okay, this is how we're shifting and we're pivoting now.
And it's nice because we have a shower outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
Our sink water just drains on the ground.
Yeah, so it's nice. I mean, it's what it is. It's not the most ideal circumstances. Hopefully,
having no vehicle, having the truck breakdown was a true damper. But at the end,
It's a best case scenario. If the
fine.
engine was going to go no matter what, I am so grateful that we weren't in the process of towing the trailer.
We could have been towing south, 100 degree, anything.
On a back
really
road,
bad
it could have been a bad situation.
Now,
for him to break down the street from a shop, it was not the shop. He ended up being towed to a different one, but that guy knew who to call and to get the connections, and got got the truck looked at the very next day on a Saturday. I mean, it was the best case scenario.
It was 4 hours of
close
shittiness,
to family.
But now that it's done, I mean, the money sucks, but now that it's done, I'm very thankful the way everything came together. And I will tell you, the guy Roger was a blessing.
Yeah.
He was a blessing.
Yeah. So
he was cool. A really nice guy.
Best case scenario
from Arizona.
Oh, really?
He went to ASU.
Oh, nice. So best case scenario for a bad situation, quote unquote bad situation to happen. I mean, we've been talking about the potential of the engine going because we knew we were having the oil overheating problem.
I was changing the oil a lot just to try to keep the engine cooler, because new oil keeps your engine cooler, and it would still get pretty friggin' hot. So it was probably going to happen. I didn't want it to happen. I would have liked to get 300,000, but you know what? Now we're guaranteed to get 300,000. Truck.
Yeah, so it's warranted for 100,000 miles. The work is warranted, and it's a nationwide recognized warranty. It's certified by RAM, so it's the best case scenario, frankly. And so we haven't, needless to say, we haven't been out on the paddleboards recently. We don't have a way to tow those around. We talked about, we almost brought them when we went to the water on Sunday, deflating them, sticking them in the truck, and then inflating them when we got to the lake. But I'm glad we didn't do that, because we would have spent more time fuddling around with the paddleboards than hanging out
and
with
the baby
family.
only can handle the lake for about an hour and a half.
Yeah. So that ended up working out fine, but it's been a fun adventure. I mean, the beautiful thing about our life and our life being a podcast is that there's always something interesting going on. Even when we think our life is starting to slow down, something picks back up. I was telling James the other day, just the weirdest things happen to us all the time. I feel like we need a camera crew following us around like a damn reality show, because if somebody was recording our life 24/7, it would be just a ridiculously hilarious show, I think.
We have run into a lot of weird situations.
But yeah, so I think we're definitely working in the background on the series we promised last week for the mindset shifts.
All of our learning.
And that's really important to drive home again right now, because
I'll drive something home too. One of the things that works, and Cara does it on our reinvention project, and it worked the day of the breakdown, is doing your breathing exercises.
Yes. Yeah. So that's what I was actually going to point to that indirectly, I guess, but that these mindset shifts, the things that we're going through, it's really easy to like go into a spiral and be like, the world is ending, my life sucks, get depressed, get worked up, have a nervous breakdown, all of those things. But we have been doing all of this work in the background, mentally, internally, emotionally, shifting the way we think about situations. Yes, it looks bad, and no, it's not fun, but we know that there's a higher purpose to what's going on in our life. So even though right now what's in our face looks bad, just like my car accident in March looked bad, it helped me be able to create the reinvention project. It created a situation for us to go back home and fall back in love with our property, for us to pause and reevaluate our trip and take these amazing visits that we weren't going to take on our original trip. So it's like things look bad in the moment, but because of these mindset shifts that we've taken and the way that we think about the world around us based on the newer sciences that for whatever reason aren't being made mainstream and aren't being shouted from the mountaintops, and they are in some circles if you pay attention to them, we're able to, I think, handle these situations with more grace than I think I would have even 3 years ago. Where it would feel like the whole world's collapsing out from under me. Now it's just like, okay, well, how do we shift and move and pivot and try to figure this out right now? And sometimes when you're in the moment, the emotions are overwhelming, but to be able to learn practices to help you get more grounded, to get more present, and to get out of that worrisome cycling where we just keep thinking of the worst case scenario and just keep thinking about how much worse it could possibly get, and just keep thinking about we don't know how we're going to get out of this situation, and we just get into that mental fight or flight response. It's literally our body trying to survive because it doesn't know any different. We're able to use these practices that we've been learning how to embody and become more aware of what's going on in our body, so we know when to use these practices so we don't go into those spirals. And it's been really beautiful to, like, when I can separate and look at the bigger picture, to know that things get tough, and in the moment sometimes it's hard to separate from it, but as soon as I realize it, be able to put these practices in and not allow myself to go as deep, I guess, into a negative spiral as I used to. It's just amazing to witness how far I've come in all of this, because I don't think we'd be able to keep doing this life with the nervous system that I had 3 years ago. And same for you. Like, me and you would just be screaming at each other, and I'd be crying, and we'd never get anything done. We'd hate each other all the time. And I don't think that's abnormal for most people.
Moments are not great.
No.
But when you have more great moments than bad moments, life is good.
And it's the learning to recover from the bad moments faster, so it doesn't absorb your life, is I guess what I'm saying. It's learning how to get more present faster, and that's the practices we've been learning, so that we're not spiraling in that bad moment that was just 15 minutes.
Sunny
We had to
here.
get out of the sun, and we decided to take a s'mores break.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the point I'm trying to make is that the practices that we have been learning, and the awareness that we have, and the mindset shifts that we've been making from all the studying and the work that we've been doing in the background, makes it so that when these really tough and hard situations do come up, because they're inevitable, that is part of life. No matter what you're doing, whatever life you're living, you're going to have hard situations come up, especially when you're living with other people. You're still going to be confronted with your own exactly, that's the exact right word. You nailed it. Your own demons, your own triggers, and so being able to have the practices that help you recenter, get out of that emergency mode, to get out of that fight or flight response, to get out of that survival mode, to be able to have the tools to bring you back to center, so that not only are you able to think more clearly about what's in front of you, but you're not spending the rest of your day, for example, living out of the lens out of an event that took, like you said, with the truck, it was 4 hours of your day. If he couldn't regulate himself, he wouldn't have been able to see the bigger picture of how to fix the situation, like renting a U-Haul truck as a rental vehicle, is a very creative idea, as opposed to trying to figure out how he's going to get to a rental car place.
With dogs.
With the dogs, yes, exactly. And so that, and in addition to, it could have ruined his entire weekend if he couldn't regulate himself. When we have disagreements and fights, being able to regulate ourselves stops us from allowing it to ruin our entire day, because we spent 15 minutes not seeing eye to eye on one topic. You're going to let that ruin the rest of the day, the rest of the week. You have a beautiful life to live. And so I guess that's the point that I'm trying to drive home here, is that's the shift. Because again, the hard moments are going to happen no matter what. How are you going to live through those hard moments?
There's so many tools in the book to do those things, but one of the things that I use very often is when I do have anxiety, or I just don't feel that I feel like I'm getting mad about a topic that doesn't really I need to get mad about. And you got to ask yourself, where does that emotion come from when it really has nothing to do with me at that present moment? It's something that obviously was in my past life or somebody else's life, because I've never experienced it. So why do I hold it? So, and there's a lot of instances, but I like to take breaths in. And when I take them in with any of the anxiety that I have, when I release that breath, I blow out all that anxiety like you've blown out a candle. I only know what it feels like. So I guess I feel it leaving my body.
That makes sense.
Is what I do. If somebody can visualize it, that's great. But I try to think to myself, like any fear that I have, I usually will overpack and whatever I need, XX and XX in my knapsack, and I go on a hike and I don't use any of it. So what makes me think I need those things when 99% of the time I don't need a lot of things that I bring. So letting go of them responses is what I've been trying to work on.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess that's the update. That is the how we're getting through it. And that is the...
But we are going to work a little bit harder on making cash versus making content.
Yeah.
Well, I am. Cara's got her own job to do.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I just know that we can't keep spending like we are and not recouping some of it. Mm-hmm. And that, again, is life, unfortunately. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Life happens, and, I can't say that we're going to have a windfall of any kind of money in them of the hard moments. And they're not hard. I'm not really stressing about it. But last winter, we came and we just kept thinking something was going to happen. And then all of a sudden it was like, we have to do something today.
Yeah, I think when all that went down and we found out that the property wasn't selling, I think we had 300 left or something.
I don't know what it was, but it wasn't a lot of money. And we were like, what the heck? And we kind of got stuck because our property was under contract. We were expecting money deposited into our bank account, and that didn't happen. And before that, we were spending money crazy, having fun, fucking, that's what we're doing. That's what we're supposed to be doing. Living the human experience is about having experiences, and experiences at some point do cost money.
Life is good. When you take out the stress that seems to be the umbrella over the moment, life is good. Like when you live moment to moment, life is so good. You had, again, a 15-minute situation in your 24-hour day, and you're going to let that cloud the rest of your day. That's silly. So that's what we're practicing. That's what we're learning. And I think we are getting better and better at it every day, every week, every month, every year. But that's the update. You got anything else, my love?
I think so.
All
See you
right.
later.
Thanks, you guys, for watching.